Menstrual products are basic necessities and should be taxed as such. But in many countries, they are not. For some people, this makes menstrual products unaffordable. So it's time to scrap period taxes. Many campaigns argue that lowering period taxes will lower the price of menstrual products. But is that actually true?
We researched countries that reduced or removed period taxes, and our conclusion is: under some conditions, lowering taxes leads to lower product prices, but this is not always the case. While the assumption lower tax equals lower prices sounds logical, the reality is often not that straightforward. It depends on several key factors. First, accountability mechanisms. Second, the marketplace. And third, the type of tax reduction.
Since economics and taxes can be complicated, we try to explain them in simple terms. Let's look more closely at these factors.
1. Accountability mechanisms. After taxes are lowered, retailers might simply take the opportunity to increase their profits instead of passing on the tax reduction. To prevent this from happening, accountability mechanisms are critical. When there is pressure from the government, existing consumer authorities, or the public, it is more likely that companies, retailers, or shops will pass on the tax reduction.
Second, the marketplace. How competitive a market is also influences whether the tax reduction is actually passed on to consumers. Lots of competition forces retailers to offer the lowest possible prices. There is therefore a high likelihood that prices will drop after a tax change. In a monopoly, however, only one company offers a particular product or service. For example, a remote village might receive menstrual products from only one retailer. This retailer can dictate the price to the shopkeepers. In this scenario, prices tend not to drop after a tax reduction. However, this is not the end of the story. Even in a competitive market, a lot depends on the market structure. If there are only a few large companies, it is easier to hold them accountable and put pressure on them. If there are lots of smaller businesses, holding each of them accountable is difficult.
3. The type of tax reduction. When removing the taxes, a national tax system could zero-rate menstrual products or make them tax-exempt. If products are zero-rated, the producer can reclaim input taxes. If products are tax-exempt, the producer cannot reclaim input taxes. To maintain the same profit, the producer will have to add this amount to the price. So, a product which is tax-exempt will end up being more expensive than a product which is zero-rated. If you want to understand the issue of taxation and input tax in more detail, we have made a video exclusively on this topic.
Considering these factors, what exactly can you do as an activist to ensure that product prices are lowered in response to tax reduction? Here are our top tips.
Get support from a local tax expert. Work with a national tax expert to understand the factors we have just shared and learn more about your national tax system and market.
Go public. After the tax on menstrual products has been changed, spread the news. The more people know about it, the more they will look at the prices and demand that they are lowered.
Track prices before and after the tax change. It is helpful to document prices before and after the tax change to see whether the tax reduction has been passed on or not, and where the culprits are along the supply chain. You can work with existing consumer authorities on this too. This will help you for the next tip.
Apply pressure to producers and retailers to lower prices. Ideally, by inviting them to make public commitments to passing on the tax difference to consumers. Once they have made these commitments, don't let them forget it. Additionally, call out non-compliant companies with the help of the media. A national consumer authority and the government might be good allies if they have anti-profiteering laws.
Consider campaigning for additional policy instruments. There are other ways for a government to help make menstrual products more affordable or accessible, especially for low-income households. For example, free distribution schemes in schools and universities, subsidies, vouchers, or even reduced corporate taxes for menstrual product producers. You can campaign for these in addition to a tax reduction, or decide to go directly for one of these, especially if you think that a tax change in your country will not lead to lower prices.
We hope that you find our insights and tips useful. If you want to understand more about period tax reduction and the impact on consumer prices, read our research report that includes national case studies and provide more details on what we have just talked about. All this is available on periodtax.org.